Does any other CLT person have something they want to add right at this point? All right, I think let's just open it up, and if you like have a question or comment or anything, let's just go from there. And if you'd like to raise your hand, then we can keep it all in good working order.
And also, if you raise your hand and if you want, indicate that you're okay with being recorded, and then I'll get you a recorder. And if you don't want to be recorded, then so. But I'd like to get as many people as I can. So.
Great. Oh, and for those who weren't here, this is for a local radio project in Madison, Wisconsin. Okay, that's why we actually have this. Okay. So does anybody have any thoughts about what they've heard or any questions? We're kind of all over the map.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Okay. So I guess I'll just let you know. I attended a Catholic school, so and we were told we had to learn all the basics of all the religions, so I kind of have an understanding of where each of you are all coming from. The extremisms that we deal with the religion, you guys seem to modestly get over that, which is like what we all think should happen with it. Going forward, do you think the cohort, like what you guys are doing as a group, expands, or like does society need to learn just in general what you guys are doing? Because the group, it seems like it's like a bubble, right? You guys talk about bubbles. I like to pop bubbles. You guys speak that you live in a bubble, and that makes me seem like we can all live and work together, but we're still in a bubble. So what do you guys think will help us pop that bubble globally or nationally to try and get where you guys are going? To a way where we're not going to be sitting there going, oh great, we have ISIS like trying to, fight this, and then they're getting mad about what we're doing. Like, basically the United States is a Christian army moving in for oil and gas on a reef. Like, if we can accept it in those terms, what do you think, like, going forward? I don't know, I just think it's a downhill battle with the media.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that.
That's great.
Yeah, what we really aspire to do, and please correct me if I'm misspeaking, because I can't speak for everyone as the community, is we as volunteers, and some of us are part-time, most of us are full-time, a lot of the work we do is social justice work, so we intentionally expand that bubble. We engage across faith traditions with allies and others to try and join and build movements for peace and justice. So our goal is to expand and replicate and join and infuse and diffuse and not be a bubble. And that's why we're here in Canada. But briefly, like you bringing up ISIS, and so on point, this American militaristic empire, which is about to possibly become its worst, since its founding. As a Muslim, Muslims as a whole say the Islamic State, Daesh, they have absolutely nothing to do with us. I, as a Muslim, say, and others say, they identify as Muslims, just as like the KKK identifies as Christians. So it's up to my community as an affinity group to work with them, just as I believe that the front lines of those working against Zionism should be the Jewish community. So just to answer you there, whoever we are closest to, our sectors, our affinity groups, first start with ourselves, and then move to our own faiths for transformation.
I think it's an amazing question. And I did notice the bubble comment. I mean, the reality is we do try to create like a safe space within our community, and I think that that's what we were referring to when we said that. And I guess I just want to say a little more about that, what is the nature of that safety that we're trying to build? I mean, I think all of our faiths, but I think especially Christianity, like, comes with like this legacy of proselytization, like, that's tied up with compulsion, which like is almost impossible to actually get out of, like, within the faith tradition. Like it's almost like impossible to actually, in my experience, to actually like engage with the faith tradition in a way that's not bumping it up against that legacy. And I think that that's to a certain extent true for the other faiths also, but it's much less so. But like, generally speaking, one of the effects that has is that people are constantly just a little bit on the defensive with each other, like across faith traditions. You know what I mean? So it's hard to like actually talk about religion within mixed company without like those sorts of defenses kind of coming up a little bit. And we just try to like bear that and move through it, and like and we try to just reiterate and like continue to like put forth another idea, which is that we can actually engage with each other with actually just really sincerely being interested in learning about each other's journeys while following our own journeys. Which might sound simple, but it's not actually simple when you're in that legacy, you're in, you know what I mean? Like when you, so it's actually a lot of like that's why the word decolonization for me is so helpful, because you're constantly like finding, oh, there's another little, can I just please remove that? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I didn't get it all. Might have to go back and dig the rest out. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that's what we mean, I think, by bubble, or, you know, because it really does actually involve kind of an effort of really trying to care about how people are reacting to us. Like I really like feel like it's part of my responsibility in the community to be, you know, concerned if the way that I try to speak about my faith raises triggers in Susan. You know what I mean? Like, but then at the same time, Susan like has a responsibility to me to actually still want to hear about my faith, which is kind of radical when you actually think about it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because why should she want to do that? Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't see it, I live it.
So it's like pretty healing in a certain way. You know what I mean? But it's healing in this, like, because you have to keep going. You can't stop. You have to keep going. And I do think that this can be replicated, and we do try to export it with our work in the world. But I think that there's something about the intentional community that intensifies that experience. But like my parents, for example, are also part of a group called Muslims and Methodists. And they're just a fellowship group, M&Ms for short.
That's sweet.
It's totally awesome.
You're just mad because shoes don't fit.
They started it as
Mouth in your mouth, yeah.
to counter the Islamophobia that was going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they've been meeting for like 10 years.
Wow.
And that's another example of a similar sort of structure that just over time, you keep going, it disarms personal relationships, accountability to each other, you know. I hope that's helpful.
So,
Hold on a second, I'll just get
sure.
through this and then we'll get to you, Michael.
Okay.
I got
Yeah,
you on my
I
face.
got 2 stacks.
are you okay if I do
No,
a
please,
brief
please,
comment?
go ahead,
And
please,
you're on stack.
No.
And Ashley, you want to comment as well, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so
I'll just keep going.